This pod is not like social media where it's just the highlight reels and you only get the happy stories. I'm going to sit here and talk about the hard stuff. I'm going to talk about the difficult stuff.
I created a nonprofit called Beyond Bars Foundation. The main purpose of the nonprofit is to help incarcerated families impacted by incarceration.
I'm going tomorrow and I'm almost like, I don't want to go tomorrow. I'm already feeling uncomfortable about it. I'm going to go because, I'm here and I've only got so many days to see my husband, but it's definitely not the same.
I'm over here getting upset thinking about Joseph in a suit and how I want to see it, and then I'm just like, sometimes playing make believe is fun, but then when I actually sit and think about it, and I'm like, oh.
Now that there's executions happening back there, it's a whole different vibe.
There were people, especially on Reddit, making comments about how, well, yeah, she's a prison wife. Of course she's doing this shit. That's what all prison wives do type shit. And that is absolutely insane to even say that.
But I did hear this, that the body cams are still being put in effect.
Yes.
And everyone has to wear one and they have to be on at all times. I did hear that from a New York wife. All right, so let me tell you about my visit yesterday. Zero, I'll say, well, maybe not zero. Let's say 1 out of 5 stars. Do not recommend. Angola recently opened up Friday visits. However, it's very different than the standard Saturday, Sunday visits. So it was just a shit show from the beginning. At first, when I got to the visitor center, they told me that I can't visit because I'm visiting death row, and only people in the other camps, like death row, can't visit on Fridays, basically. Which is not true because we have contact visits and those are scheduled, months in advance.
Yeah.
So they were trying to kick me out of the visitor center, and then they finally had to. I was like, "Can you please call back there because I have paperwork. Like, there's paperwork somewhere, She's like, well, I don't have the paperwork, so let me call. I'll call. So she called, and the captain said, yeah, she's got a visit today. So that was fun to start off. And then after that, it was just kind of a, huh?
That just set the mood.
Yeah. And then I was already like going into the facility. I was already like, I don't want to be here. Like, I've always said that Angola is like this very laid back, family friendly atmosphere. Well, that has completely changed for me. It is not. It's very cold. I feel like a pariah now when I go. It feels now like a federal penitentiary, to be honest. Especially with
the way you were describing it, kind of made it sound like some of the visits that I go to CDCR.
Yeah. So all that stuff that I had said about Angola being pretty chill and pretty nice to the visitors, I will never go again on a Friday. That's for sure. I don't know if it's just different on Fridays or what. I'm going tomorrow and I'm almost like, I don't want to go tomorrow. I'm already feeling uncomfortable about it. I'm going to go because, I'm here and I've only got, so many days to see my husband. But it's definitely not the same. And it's sad because it was a place where I could go and not feel like I was in a prison. Like I always say, like when I visit with Michael, I always felt like it was just me and him in the room. And now it doesn't feel that way. And I mean, there's other stuff going on too, which we'll get into, when we talk on the pod. But
I think it's important you talk about these times though, because even in our group in Love with In-Laws where you brought it up, someone had mentioned oh, is this normal to have visits like this? Because my last visit like that was, not comfortable. And it a lot of the visits aren't uncomfortable, and it is important to talk about those ones just as much as it is to talk about the good ones, because it helps everyone else feel a little bit more sane when we go through those terrible visits.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this pod is not like social media where it's just the highlight reels and you only get the happy stories. I'm going to sit here and talk about the hard stuff. I'm going to talk about the difficult stuff, and I'm going to use my voice to make it known that it's okay to have a visit that's not, rainbows and sunshine and among other things. So Yeah, I'm glad that someone said, I had something similar. Someone even said, like, can y'all talk about this on the pod? Like, I had a similar situation. And,
Mhm.
so I just want you guys to know that visits, I mean, granted, we made the most of it in the afternoon. They told me I couldn't take pictures, which is our thing, it was just really a very strange visit after visiting for so long. Now that there's executions happening back there, it's a whole different vibe. And like I had to be escorted everywhere. Like that never happened. That never happened before. It was just very like
I wonder.
lockdown.
I mean, I know the executions and everything has
Hmm.
probably the whole vibe back there weird, but I wonder how much of it has to do with being there on a Friday because, like we had talked about on Patreon, like
Hmm.
on Fridays versus weekend visits, like anyone who's visited prisons on Fridays versus weekend visits, like on Fridays, you can pretty much expect like the warden and like the higher ups
Yeah.
to be there and guards to be a little bit more on their shit in case like they were to walk through visiting. So sometimes, like, if you are usually allowed to like hold hands a little bit longer. That you wouldn't be allowed to then because God forbid, you know.
Yeah. God forbid, you touch them or you have any human contact with them.
Yeah, not at
Um,
all. Yeah.
yeah. So I do agree with that statement too, because there was like the warden was there. She walked in on our visit yesterday. The captain, the colonel, the lieutenant colonel were all there. And so I'm not, and I know why, but you know what? I'm not going to say why because people aren't getting their news from me anymore. I will say that. And we're going to talk about that because I'm very salty about that. And that's also part of the reason why I, you know, don't feel comfortable going there anymore
Mhm.
because I feel extremely hurt by some of the things that took place after some of our pod episodes and the things that were said about me back there.
I mean,
So
you might as well just say it now because it's not like anyone, like the people that are actually upset about it, listen to our pod. So
yeah,
hopefully, maybe they tune into the first 10 minutes because all they clearly listen to are clips.
yeah. Well, okay. If you okay, here we go. Here
Go ahead.
comes my TED talk. And Paige, chime in, please, because I know you've got some things to say
Hmm.
too. It was brought to my attention this past week that the people and their loved ones back at death row do not like the fact that I talk about death row on the pod. They feel some certain type of way about it. And I don't know. I still never got an answer as to why they feel that way. Like, did I say something wrong? Like, just trying to get constructive feedback.
Yeah.
Nobody owned up to anything. And so nobody told me why they feel that way. I don't know. I can assume a plethora of reasons. One might be they're getting the women are getting their news from me and not from their loved ones and they're freaking out. Another one could be that we're exploiting the situation, which I don't understand how that could even be possible. And there's just basically they don't like that I'm on this pod talking about death row. So you know what? You guys who look for information from me from death row, you're not getting it anymore. Newsflash, you can go to some of those other nonprofits who, by the way, refuse to talk to family members of death row, which I've been told by them, because they don't want to get into any legal situation with the families on death row. So you can call PJI and get zero information from them because they won't talk to you. Yes, I'm outing them because they pissed me the fuck off. I'm sorry.
Hey,
Ooh. All right. So anyway,
it's
so
already like we don't like, you're looking for support places here and you're looking for a place to talk and openly vent and express what you and your husband are experiencing.
yeah,
So we created a podcast where we can have an open forum to do that, and even that is apparently not
a problem.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what? You can take your advocacy and shove it up your ass because I'm not advocating anymore for the guys on death row. I've done it. That's all I've done is support them and try to bring humanity back to death row. And I feel like I've just been shit on because I'm doing that and I'm defending them and they don't care. They don't care. So you know what? And their families don't care and they don't care for me to do that. So I'm not going to do that anymore. So if you want your news about Louisiana on any type of advocacy stuff, you can go to the fucking nonprofits because I ain't your bitch no more. Sorry. I said it like that. That's how I fucking feel.
And you're allowed to, because like your husband and you are the ones that have to like deal with the random hearing about it from other people. You know what I mean? For what? They act like we're on here like exploiting the death penalty. We're talking about it, and yeah, we're going to talk about it because it's the biggest problem in our criminal justice system, and it's becoming an even bigger one as these people that are in power positions are becoming more bloodthirsty. So, yeah, and like, Gigi can stop talking about it, but guess what? I'm going to keep fucking talking about it because that's all that I've done since I've been advocating. And like, look at my fucking shirt, abolish the death penalty. Like, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to shut the fuck up. And if anyone thinks that we are exploiting anyone, uh we're not. I mean, anyone who knows anything about social media, look at the numbers of our subscribers and our views on our videos. We don't make money from
Yeah.
these things. If anything, we lose money. We pay, we have a producer that we do pay, and we have a Patreon that we get money from, but that money goes directly to our producer who helps us with this. So like, I don't know who thinks we are exploiting and making money off of this, but they are sadly mistaken. I literally said on Patreon yesterday, we've made $5 on
Yeah.
YouTube. So unless we're making money somewhere and someone isn't like, it's not getting to us, let me know.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep using my voice in my mouth because that's what advocacy is for. And, I think that anything that happens in the quiet silence should be brought to light. Because
Well, apparently
they want.
they want me to shut up. They want me to be silent about it. So get your news from somewhere else. Get your news from PJI, who's just going to put out like broadcasts of information, not the real shit that's actually happening back there. But okay. And nowhere do I ever mention names. Nowhere do I ever say so and so is here and so is there. I never do that. I always say in general statements. So, people don't like it. Okay, well then go get your information somewhere else because it ain't me. I'll talk about other stuff in Louisiana, but I ain't advocating. I ain't signing petitions. I ain't doing fucking shit because you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired of being, we talked about this yesterday. We're hated on from the fucking haters who tell me that because I commented on the guy who just recently passed away, who had an execution date. I commented on a beautiful post that his spiritual advisor made on Facebook, and I got told I'm going to rot in hell for supporting him. I get that comment all the fucking time. Then I get hated. I mean, you get hated on by people in the prison system. Done. Now I'm getting hated on by my own people that I'm advocating for my husband and for them. And now I'm getting hated on by them. So it's like, I can't fucking win no matter what I fucking do. And I just feel like, well, then fine, go fuck it. Go do your own shit. Go get your information from organizations that don't want to work with you. Go ahead, you do it. Because it's hurtful and I care about those guys. I buy them food. I do stuff. Like I go there, I support them. I support them on here. And I feel like they're just like, fuck you, Gigi. You're a fucking bitch. Okay, well, you know what? Fuck you too. That's what I'm going to say. I'm pissed. I'm hurt. And I know I'm saying things out of anger right now, and I'll probably regret it later because that's my Gemini self. Yeah. I know, but that's how I need to say it. I need to say it because I was crying all day yesterday at Visit. All morning I was crying because I could just feel the tension and I could just feel the animosity towards me back there. And I have to let it out. Like I have to get it out. And I can talk to Michael, but Michael's like, he's very like trying to soothe me. He's a Libra. He's trying to calm me down. And I just need to get it out. And this is where I have my voice. And sadly now, I'm not doing it for death row anymore. I'm doing it for everybody else but Louisiana death row. How do you like them apples? You know what I mean? And that fucking sucks to say that because that's where my heart is, because that's where my husband is. That's where I want to fight because there is shitty stuff happening right now. And I'm trying to bring light to it. And all I get is shit for it. So you know what? Fuck it. Like I said, you can go to PJI and get information from them, but they're not going to talk to you. And you can leave me the fuck alone now because I'm not going to talk. I will advocate for everybody else in all other fucking 49 states, but you. Don't ask me to sign your petition. Don't ask me to do shit because I ain't doing it no mo. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Hey.
I'm hot.
You're allowed to feel like
I'm
that.
hot. Yeah. I'm just
You're
hot
allowed
right
to,
now.
it's frustrating when you're like constantly like, you didn't do anything to get that kind of shit stirred or have Michael have to be there and like, no one come to him like a man even and like
Yeah.
express any upset, like if they're upset, like just okay, then do that, go to Michael and talk to him about it. But no, you can't, or you can't even just listen to the pod to know that no one is exploiting anything. We are literally talking about what's happening.
Yeah. And I'm just going to add this
So I'm
one little
sorry that
tidbit.
upset.
Yeah. I just want to say this. These people have not watched the pod. They've only seen shorts or reels. So that's where that's
Which is
coming
just as
from.
bad. Which is just as bad as the haters that hate on us.
Because they
that's all
don't watch the pod. Yeah. Yep. So thank you for coming to my 15-minute TED Talk.
Hey, it happens.
I got to laugh a little bit. All right. Well, are we ready to get started?
Yeah, can I show my cute little shirt?
Oh yeah, please, please. Okay, I have mine. I'm not at home, so I can't wear it, but I just got it. But Paige made this beautiful design for our shirts on, is it Printify?
Yes.
Printify.com. If you go to our link tree, you can buy one for yourself. It does help us help the pod and getting the word out to abolish the death penalty, but not in Louisiana, apparently.
We do profit like $4. I hope that's okay with everyone.
Yeah, fuck. Jesus Christ. I mean, you do make the design. You do spend, your software, your internet time to make a design and put it up there. So, God forbid, sorry. But I do love the design. So guys, get yours, support the Potty Pod, and abolish the death penalty.
Yeah.
For my husband, at least in Louisiana. I'm sorry. I told you.
We're abolishing it.
I want to abolish it everywhere. Yep. All right, guys. Are we ready for episode 48? Holy shit. We're almost to 50, Paige. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. All right, here we go. All right, Paige, what up with that legislation? Legislation. Sorry, I forgot about that part.
Yeah, I have an update for the New York prison strike. Unfortunately, I cannot even believe we are still talking about this a week later. Which, before I even get into the New York prison strike, can I just talk about the amount of hate and crazy comments that we got on TikTok from a majority of actual COs, and it's not even people just pretending to be COs, because they already have their anonymous accounts, and then when you go to their account, they have like slideshows of them protesting. So like they made these accounts thinking they're like, really cool.
Like
they're doing,
user
like,
5 billion, 560, whatever, all the numbers.
They're doing like witchcraft in a urinal with their boss's photo in it, and I literally commented, "Are you guys doing witchcraft?" And no one commented back, so I don't know. But they literally are crazy. I said, "You guys really need to get back to work because you're bored," and they have been commenting nonstop. The things that they would say were insane, and I'm just like, I feel so bad for our loved ones, because if this is what you guys do publicly out here to us, I can't imagine what you've said to them.
Correct. Or done to them.
Vile. So here we are now. Today is March 1st, and as of right now, it is still an ongoing strike, hopefully coming to an end. New York Governor Kathy Hochul says that the tentative agreement has been reached to end the strike within the facilities. She said, "My top priority is the safety of all New Yorkers, and for the past 11 days, I have deployed every possible state resource to protect the well-being of correction officers, the incarcerated population, and the local communities across New York. Working with the mediator, we have reached a consent award that addresses many of the concerns raised by the officers, put docks back in the path of safe operations, respect the rights of the incarcerated individuals, and prevent future unsanctioned work stoppages. I have the utmost respect and gratitude for the correction officers, civilian docks employees, National Guard personnel, and other staff who have done their absolute best to maintain order in our correctional facilities during this challenging time. You know, it says on here, while the governor says that the deal is binding, there are still COs that are discussing the proposed concessions and say that they are very unhappy with everything that she is proposing because a majority of them wanted to get rid of HALT. They want HALT gone. A spokesperson for the striking officer said it doesn't go far enough, especially when it comes back to not rolling back the HALT reform. They want that box, y'all. They want that box to throw people in, and they don't want rules for the box.
Can I just say about the HALT Act? They did say something about the fact that they were suspending the HALT Act for 90 days.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, it's because of I think in our last episode we talked about that. It was because of the strike going on and everything. Yeah. They had to because of everything going on. Since we talked about it last week, there's 2 deaths. One, someone hung themselves, and another one is being investigated. And I'm like, I don't know how you can't put this on the strike.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it is. The unions have been really pushing these officers and saying you guys really got to get back because they didn't support it to begin with. Mm-hmm. They're pretty much just saying, you know, if you guys don't get back there, we can't really promise you anything. And there's still some that, although they say a deal has been reached, that they refuse. Like, I'm not going back. Like, I don't know.
Well, then don't go back. Bye. We don't need you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I mentioned, those 2 deaths were in the same facility, the Sing Sing Correctional Facility, Anthony Douglas and Franklin Dominguez. Mm-hmm. And, you know, as those people are in there dying, there are just COs outside standing out there for the past 12 days striking. It's just
and hating.
It's and being complete haters, and like they feel the need to push on all of our social media. They didn't leave them in there, blah blah blah. I mean, you did. You left your coworkers in there to essentially be on their own, to not be relieved. And I'm sorry if, like we said last week, if I did that at my job, I wouldn't have a job. I wouldn't have the option to go back 12 days later. And, you know, if I have concerns with my job and the safety concerns of my job, I have to go about them in a correct manner, like going through HR and, you know, there are so many ways that they could have gone about this other than doing a strike. And that's where you lose any empathy from me. And I said that to one of the people that was commenting. They were like, how can you not care? Like, you know that some COs like will have gone through shit. And I understand that there are bad incarcerated people, just like there are bad COs. There are good ones. There are, and all of that. But you can't abandon your job and abandon humans. I don't. All of my empathy is out the door when you could have done this so many other ways.
I agree. And like, listen, I'll give them props. Like, there are some good COs, and to be a CO is not, I will say this, it's not an easy job. I can only imagine. Not only are you, having to, take care and correct people and help them rehabilitate, you're also seeing traumas before your eyes as well, and you're putting your life on the line, possibly going into work. I mean, there are some jobs that you have to do that, and I commend them for that. I commend them for wanting to
not an easy job.
It isn't, but at the same time, you also have some very corrupt people that work at prisons, and so mistreating incarcerated individuals and using a power play or trying to subdue them in violent manner or torturous manner is not acceptable either. I mean, there's good and bad in every profession. And I love what you said. Like, if I just walked out of my job because I just didn't agree with something, I would not have a job to go back to. So,
let alone 14 days to think about it.
Correct. And I wouldn't have negotiations to be made. Like, it would just be like, you're done. You're done.
after like leaving and not like, are you serious? Like, and not even that, like beyond the fact that you would do that, and even if we did that in our jobs, well, okay, me for example, I don't work directly with other people. I would be leaving an empty office building.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be leaving humans to fend
Yeah.
for themselves.
That's like me as a teacher walking out and
Yes.
letting 22, 11, and 12-year-olds by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I've done lost my job because that's my responsibility. There has to be an adult in the room at all times. So, yeah, just saying. And then, I just think it's very interesting that when other professions strike, they get so much shit. They get so much shit, whereas these people did not get as much shit
Because
for,
and I'm glad.
like when teachers strike, it's like, you're not thinking about the children and all this stuff. Well,
all these people are defending them, and all these, well, you shouldn't have broke the law, blah blah blah. Like, no, that's continue to have your closed, your closed-minded, privileged way of thinking, and
yeah. Well, our hearts still go out to those families. I'm sure. I did hear. Is visiting possibly coming back for them in New York?
I have not read anything.
Okay.
I can imagine that they are probably trying to figure that out as soon as they can.
Yeah. But I did hear that the body cams are still being put in effect.
Yes.
And everyone has to wear one, and they have to be on at all times. I did hear that from a New York wife.
Shouldn't have the ability to turn it off.
No, and like we always say, it's good to have for any reason, whether it be for the CO or for the incarcerated individual. I just think more facilities should have that. So,
well, okay, I'm sitting here thinking about like the bathroom. I guess that's probably why they have to turn it off.
In the bathroom, I would say yes, because there's no cameras allowed in a bathroom. Yeah,
I know, but I was sitting here like they shouldn't even be able to turn it off. But I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess the bathroom.
Yeah.
I have another.
Okay.
Alabama lawmakers explore bail reform, which is a little bit exciting for Alabama.
Yeah.
Alabama lawmakers are weighing a proposal to overhaul the state's bail system. House Bill 42, sponsored by Senator Christopher England, would amend the Alabama Bail Reform Act, allowing courts to accept a partial cash deposit from a defendant instead of requiring a full bail amount, if approved by a judge. England says that the change would keep more money within the court system, which would benefit both the state and the people that are owed restitution. It affords the defendant an opportunity to get out, pay cash directly to the court, he said, and what that does in the event of that the person does not return, the court keeps the cash, pays the fines, and pays the cost, and also pays the restitution. And it's also giving these people, an option to do a little bit of cash bail.
Yeah. That's
like,
awesome.
So I think that is exciting that they're looking to do partial cash deposits and any ways to get people out of jails, especially when they're just being held in there for possibly something they didn't even do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for that. So I'm all for that.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I'm here to shit on ADOC. Unfortunately.
Okay. Well, typically when we talk about ADOC, it is shitting on them. So that's
well.
fine.
Well, I'm glad we started with a positive at least, because I'm about to bring some crazy shit to the news as far as Alabama ADOC goes. Alabama gave the University of Alabama at Birmingham permission, get this, to harvest organs from dead prison inmates. Families of men who died in Alabama prisons were returned without their organs.
I heard about this like a while ago.
It came out in April, and then it resurfaced again a few days ago.
Okay.
It came out in April on CNN, and I guess because there's a lawsuit happening, there's more stuff coming out about this. And one of our own Wallers, I'm gonna say her name. I don't know if she cares or not. Indy tagged me in this. And I was like, holy shit, like that's crazy. So there was about, I want to say like 5 or 6 guys from Alabama prisons whose bodies were returned without their organs. And then the University of Alabama at Birmingham argued that they had a contract that allowed them to keep the organs after the autopsies. Okay. So lawyers are fighting because family members were shocked when they got
When did
their.
they have property of his body?
Yeah, from what I understand, the state, you are like, if you are incarcerated, let's say for a life sentence, you're a ward of the state until you expire or pass away. Once you expire, your body goes to your next of kin, whoever you're claiming your body, your family, whatever. So the lawyers are saying you can't just illegally harvest organs.
No.
Yeah. And he basically compared it to the lawyer, and there's a quote here, so I'm quoting this quote: "That's Nazi Germany. That's what we're doing, Your Honor." That's unquote. So that is what basically comparing it to that. And so the UAB people, the UAB attorney is saying, well, it's a contract. We're just honoring our contract, you know. So, and they were allowed to keep the organs for testing purposes and for anything else that they had. So I guess this is happening now into court, and we'll see what. I'm going to keep y'all. It's been filed, so hopefully I will get y'all some updates as this, comes to light of what happens with this court case. So.
Fucking weirdos. That's fucking weird, and I don't care what.
Yeah.
Like I don't care what kind of, and there's absolutely just no way that should even, like, oh my god, I can't even imagine if that was my loved one. I wouldn't even be able to sleep at night, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. And like I said, people think that, I think people still think that, incarcerated people are not people, so they can do whatever they want with their bodies when they're done. And that's,
not how it works.
I have one more thing about Louisiana for all my Louisiana people. Guys, this is serious. I need you to go out and vote. Early voting is March 15th through the 22nd, excluding Sunday. Election day is at the end of this month, March 29th. There are 4 amendments that Jeff Landry wants to happen. Shady specialty courts, Amendment 1. Tax cuts for the rich, Amendment 2. Youth pipeline to adult prison, basically putting children in our adult prisons like Angola, Amendment 3, and tinkering with judicial elections, Amendment 4. You need to go out and vote no on all four of these amendments, because if you give Jeff Landry power, this is the way to cut off his empire that he thinks he's running in Louisiana. Yeah. So please, and if you need more information, I have the information. You can also, I do like this nonprofit, so I'm going to shout their name from the rooftops. Vote has all of the information on their Instagram, Facebook page, their website. If you need the information, I suggest you go to Vote, which is Voice of the Experienced. They're a wonderful nonprofit. They help people in the community. They also help people coming out of in prison to reacclimate to society. Just overall a great organization. They work with families. They work with loved ones. So if you need more information on those 4 amendments, please reach out to them or hit me up. I will be happy to tell you about them. All right. That's all I had for what's up with that. All right. Do we have I'm sure we do, because we've been hated on all fucking week.
Yeah.
Do we have a mean tweet that you want to share, or a sweet tweet?
Honestly, if you guys want to see a mean tweet, just go over to our TikTok and check out all of the comments on the New York
Can I just say that,
because that's where they all are, and I am too lazy to go over and read them myself.
I just want to call out, because I was ready to pounce on this one woman who was commenting on our New York clip that we had on TikTok. She must have been a CO. She basically said that all visitors bring in stuff. It's not them. And I wanted to respond. I didn't. I held my tongue. But I wanted to respond with, what about COVID, boo? Who was bringing in stuff during COVID? Who's bringing in stuff now that there's no visits? Okay.
I don't even know how they can say crazy shit like that when COVID literally happened and no one could come in and all of the prisons were still getting shit.
Drugs, guns, cash, phones, SIM cards, all that shit was coming in during COVID. And whose fault is it? The visitors. Too bad there are none. Sorry. Feisty today. All right. Are we ready to do our fun? I'm ready for some fun.
I am. I'm ready for some fun. We wanted to go a little bit of a different route for this episode, and then the one after this, we're going to kind of switch it up a little bit too. Instead of going with a topic that is specifically prison life, we'll switch it up for this episode, and we're going to do kind of a unique and thought-provoking question Q&A thing for Gigi and I, so you guys can kind of get a better understanding of us and why our brains tick the way that they do and all that good stuff.
I'm ready. Well, I just also want to say thank you guys for all of the questions from last week before we start this. I had so much fun. We talked about this last night on Patreon. I had so much fun asking Mike these questions. And I loved seeing Joe also answer the questions and be his silly self, because we don't always get to see that side of him. So I really did enjoy doing that. And we hope to do more like that, like actually have them maybe even on a video call or something to where you guys can see their facial expressions. We talked about that last night too. So some stuff that we're working on for possible future episodes.
And if you guys have any suggestions or things, like after we did that, we had a lot of people that came and let us know that they loved when we brought the guys on. So even that is a great feedback for us and why we're already planning to bring them back on again. So,
yep.
I had these questions generated. I actually didn't even go through and look at them because I kind of wanted to not be prepared the same way that we have the
hot
men.
Seat.
Yes.
Hot seat.
Yes. So, Gigi, I figured we can just go back and forth answering these maybe.
Okay.
If your childhood self could see you now, what is the thing that you think they'd be most surprised by?
Ooh. That they can see me as an adult now, my childhood self, that I made it and that I can make it and I'm independent and I don't have to let horrific things stop me from living, stop me from taking care of business, working, being a strong, independent woman. I always kind of wanted that housewife role, and I'm not that at all. And so I think seeing me as a woman who can, travel and, live my life and take care of business, have a house, have a car, just being independent and making it through the fire, coming out of the ashes, I think.
I think mine would be similar. I think mine mostly would be my childhood self would be really in awe of me, because I think when I was little, I was very I wasn't outgoing. I was very quiet. I didn't use my voice. I kept things to myself. I let people kind of treat me weird, like shit. And I wouldn't speak up for myself, let alone other people. So for myself to see me now having a podcast where I speak up for myself and other people, and, our support group where we help other people, and the nonprofit and stuff, I think that honestly my childhood self would probably be how did you get the balls to do that? Because when I was little, I would have never talked back. I was a people pleaser. I was a yes ma'am.
Same. I could just see it. I could just see little Paige to big Paige. Wow, you grew some major lady balls.
Wow, you said that to someone? Like I would have never wanted to like fight or like have
Yeah.
conflict.
No,
Like
me
I would
neither.
avoid it at all
Hmm.
costs. Now I'm like, no, I'm uncomfortable. Let's talk about it.
Let's bring that shit up. Let's air it out,
Hmm.
bitch. Yep.
Hmm. Um, if you had to be haunted by a ghost for the rest of your life, but you got to choose who it was, who would you pick?
Oh, Jim Carrey
Yeah.
or Chris, or does it have to be somebody that's already deceased?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Okay, well, I have two. So if it doesn't have to be someone deceased, Jim Carrey, because I feel like I would love to have Jim Carrey aggravating the fuck out of me, making me laugh.
Yeah.
If it has to be someone deceased, I would say Chris Farley, because who wants a scary ghost when you can have a funny ghost make you
That,
laugh?
that's a, that's a good answer. I don't have like a person that I'm like that makes me like laugh like hard. So my brain went to like the motivational.
Okay.
I'm like I need like Gandhi or like someone like that that's gonna be on my like side that's like don't do that or like dude like this is what you should do. Like I don't.
I would
I,
love to have, I mean, I would love to have someone inspirational like Dr. Martin Luther King or
yeah.
like Gandhi or somebody, like that. But I just feel like if it's going to be every day to haunt me for the rest of my life,
True.
let's have some fun, you know?
I like don't like I like can't even think of a comedian that I'm like that person really makes me laugh, and I don't know if that's sad or
I don't know. I mean, everybody finds things that are funny that are different.
yeah.
I'm
Like I
just
like weird thing. I like
yeah.
Gen Z humor, like that stuff. Like I like weird. I like weird like untimed, ironic humor. Like I think that's what's weird about me. So I'd have to find like something like that.
Yeah.
Make them stalk me. If you could switch lives with anyone for a week, who would it be and why?
With for a week, I would just,
I know.
there's a
Because then I'm
lot.
like, but then I wouldn't have my Josie.
Yeah.
And someone else who I switched with would have my Josie. And I don't even like that in my hypothetical situation.
No, very territorial here.
Yeah.
Hello, very territorial here. Um,
Right?
I don't know. Okay, so if I had to switch with somebody, I would want it to be like someone who is just I would love to see what it's like to be extremely wealthy and not have to worry about anything ever and just be able to go, "Oh, I want a steak in Chicago or I want a deep dish pizza. Let me
Yeah,
just fly."
I want to wake up and get on our PJ and like go to like
Yeah.
New York City. Just
Yeah, or like go travel the world or live on a yacht for something, a few days. Like just be able to do stuff and not have to worry about anything. Like everything's planned out for you, everything's taken care of you for you. Um, so, but I'd also want to be an activist, and I know this is the worst because I don't like, really care for her, but I would love to see what Kim K's life is like.
that'd be interesting. And I'm over here. I know what you're thinking, and I'm over here like I think I would want to switch with Gavin Newsom, and then I would let my husband out of prison.
Ooh, that's smart. Well, I would say Jeff Landry so I could let my husband out of prison, but really don't want to be Jeff Landry.
Yeah, you're like,
He's
can I?
sight. I mean,
Never mind. Let me
he's
not say that on
Titan.
YouTube.
Sorry.
I had evil thoughts in my head, and I stopped.
Yeah, well, at least Newsom's like, trying to do stuff. Yeah, that's a good call. I like that. That's smart, Paige. You're using that noggin up there. I like it.
What What is your quote unquote I would survive a horror movie because reason?
Ooh.
I can tell you why I would.
Okay, go ahead, because I'm a little lost on this one.
Because I'm an overthinker and I'm abundantly cautious of everything in my life always.
Mhm.
So I would probably be like on my shit, like trying to figure out like how the fuck to get like I would be like super aware of everything and that's how I would survive because I would be like how the fuck do I get I would be able to like focus my anxiety and scariness on getting the fuck out of there.
Yeah. I would. I agree with that because I'm also very similar in that regard. Like I overthink. I have a lot of anxiety. I'm very high strung mentally. Um, so that would be one for me. I would also survive because first of all, I'm a fighter. I don't take shit. And I can run. Believe it or
Wow.
not, my
Not me.
chunky ass can sprint. So I also am smart enough to know not to do the things that they do in the scary movies, like run into the cemetery or, hide behind the door in the house or whatever and make a bunch of noise and have your phone, like everything go wrong. All the noises go off so the killer can find you. So I would say, yeah, I would bolt and I would be smart about bolting. And I would lay low. I wouldn't even be curious.
Yeah.
Like, you know how like the person always gets killed because they're curious and they come out too soon? Like I would be lying low for hours.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be planning. Oh, I just read this and I already have a good answer for it.
Okay.
If you had to pick a viral meme to represent your personality, which one would it be?
Got
I'm
this.
gonna combine it. I'm gonna
Go
combine
ahead.
it with the dog in the fire in the room that's on fire, where they're like, "This is fine,"
Oh yeah, that's a
and
good one.
I'm combining it with the and I oop because that's also my life. Like both of those memes combined are my personality easily.
Yeah. Mine is conceited. If you don't know the conceited meme, it's one of my it's actually my favorite meme. It's the guy with the red solo cup who's like,
Like judging.
yes.
Yeah.
Not that I judge, but like I'm just like sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, you know.
Yeah.
That would be me. That's one of my favorite memes to send. Also, the other one that I would send is the roll safe, which is the one where with the guy's like tapping his brain. You know the I'm talking
Mhm.
about, like where he's like,
Mhm.
you can't pay bills if you're in prison, or you don't have to deal with your wife if you're in prison, and he's like this. So
Mhm.
I like those memes too.
Um. hmm. What is something? Okay, no, no, no. How do you balance vulnerability with protecting yourself emotionally?
Ooh, dang.
I feel like it's got to be boundaries is the only answer for me
Yeah.
because like I am a vulnerable, like I am emotional and I am vulnerable and I can be too much of both if I don't put boundaries in place for myself
Yeah.
because I mean since I've been little I've literally been labeled the emotional sensitive kid. So like, it's like it's figuring out what your levels are and what you can and can't take and not exceeding that.
Yeah, and I think boundaries, and I also think talking about it is a way to help, you know, cope with that vulnerability. Because like you, I'm extra sensitive. I'm an emotional creature. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I don't mind sharing. I don't mind being vulnerable. I think it's important for us to be vulnerable. To let people know, what's happening with us, who we are as people. But I do think boundaries, I'll be honest, I tend to shut down a lot when it comes to that. Especially if I feel like I'm very, if I'm being vulnerable, but I'm being also very uncomfortable or very emotionally heightened, sensitive emotions there, kind of like yesterday. I tend to shut down. So that's how I deal with it sometimes, which is not always. It's one of my things that I'm working on, but definitely communicating is a way to work through that for sure.
If your life was a reality show, what would it be called?
Ass and titties.
Period. I'm gonna say, what up with that?
What up with that? What up with that?
And that's
Yes.
the theme song. We stole the theme song for my show.
Mine's going to be Ass and Titties by, I think it's DJ something. Ass, titties, ass and titties.
You know what Joe
Ass,
asked me the
ass,
other day? He
titties,
goes, "Have you
titties.
heard that song where they're like fat, juicy, and what?" I'm like, "Of course I have." The fuck?
I've heard about it long before you heard about it,
Yeah,
honey.
it's my song. um, how do you handle feeling misunderstood by people who don't quote unquote get your journey?
If it's people that I don't know, I don't really care.
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean, I'll
either.
get my feels for like a second and then I'll be like, yeah, fuck these people. They're miserable. If it's people that care about me, obviously you saw me get very, very upset. So yeah, at some point I have to just kind of cut people off if they don't want to understand my journey. I've had to pull back from a lot of people lately, and it's sad because I love them and I care about them, but it's kind of like I have to just, you don't really support me, so, and you don't want to understand. You just want to tell me I can't do this and I shouldn't do this and I shouldn't do that. So, meh, you know.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
I feel like it gets easier once you realize that like other people's feelings and opinions aren't yours to worry about, and it doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't, because nothing about what they think is going to affect your life or your journey. And it's like down to, especially like when it comes to us, if people who know us want to understand our journey and our relationships, we literally have a whole podcast with 48 episodes that they can listen to. And if you don't listen, then that's on you, and I take it with even less credibility. And if you listen and you are still judgmental afterwards, then I know that you're just a hater.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need that. Like similar to when I was younger, I don't need like other people's acceptance to feel like this is okay. Like little Paige would never be able to be in a relationship with someone incarcerated because I would care way too much what everyone thinks. And now that's your problem.
Yeah, you got a problem with it. That's on you. That's a
Yeah.
you problem, boo. Can I share something real quick? Just a little
Mm-hmm.
tidbit, a little nugget of joy that happened this week. I told you about it already,
Yes,
Paige.
I know. I know what it
Speaking
is.
about this,
Mm-hmm.
I did something very scary for myself because this person she means the world to me. I love her. I'm her godmother. I told my niece about the podcast. I didn't tell both. I have 3 nieces, but I only told one so far. I showed her a clip of me talking this past week, and the response I got from her was so sweet, and I was terrified because, like, you send somebody a clip and they don't respond. She doesn't respond for like a few days. I'm like, oh my God, like started panicking. But she responded. I woke up one morning and had a response from her. And it was just like, I love you. I'm proud of you for using your voice, speaking on these things. Like, you're my hero, And I told her she was my hero because she's standing up for herself as an independent woman. And I support her. So it was just a beautiful moment to get that feedback from someone that I was terrified to tell.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yay.
said, welcome to my secret life.
We love it. So this last section is your bond as co-hosts and friends.
Ooh, okay.
What
Like
is
our
one,
bond, our
yeah,
two. Okay.
yeah. What's one thing about each other that people don't see but should?
I think people don't see. I think people see it, but they don't get the full gamut of how hard you work, Paige. How like Paige comes home from work and does more work. Like, I don't think y'all realize that. Even though for her it's something that she enjoys doing, I think it's still work. It's still stuff she does. Like, she's putting together we're building a nonprofit from the ground up, and she is the this is her dream and she's doing it. And I just don't think you guys see how much she does work beyond just her day job. And I also think people don't see how much you do care for other people. I know they might get a glimpse and they may understand like through the support group, but if they're not in the support group, I want people to know how much you genuinely do care about people and helping those that are defenseless, are voiceless. You know, you really do care about that. And it's a deep passion of hers. And I want people to know about that. And I think if they watch the pod and if they're in our support group, they get that. But if they're not, then that's something that I think everybody should know for sure.
You trying to make me cry?
I love you.
Thank you. That was so nice.
Love you.
I feel like someone in our pod sent a question about this before about you, but it is seriously, it takes, I think, someone that knew you before the pod to know you now to see how much like growth you have truly had in like the past year alone with like, you know, coming off of Michael's clemency and like being at like your lowest where, you know, you felt like you didn't even like, how are you going to keep rolling with this, and like being where you are now and so strong and so passionate and open to helping people, like, you know what I mean, like it's a complete 180 from the mindset that you were at, and I think that like you don't even give yourself enough credit for that sometimes.
Oh, thank you, my love. You're gonna make me cry.
Well, it's the truth.
Thank you.
What's a moment that solidified our friendship?
When you said, "Here's the banner, let's go." And I'm like, right? Fucking right. We ride at dawn, bitch.
Because we were literally just fucking talking about it back and forth for like 3 weeks. And I just said, I made the banner.
And I'm like, let's fucking go, bitch. We're on it. And I think also...
the Amazon mic. I go, buy this mic.
What does somebody call it? Cheap mics? Our cheap mics.
Oh, yeah. Our cheap mics where people podcast equipment.
Yeah. Cheap. We're too cheap. But first of all, I love this mic because I would hate to have that big black thing in my, like the big black arm in my face, you know, like the big black mic with the long crane looking thing. But yeah, so Paige, I also think what also solidified our friendship too was when you came to me, because I was already adminning a different prison wife group. And you came to me and was like, I'm like, I kind of want to start a group. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here to help. Let's go. And I didn't feel 2 seconds bad about it, about helping you and getting this group started off, you know, like Love Within Walls started, to get the whole aspect. Because I know the end goal, the big dream, the big goal is the nonprofit. And so this was like one step in that cog wheel, you know, one little piece of the cog wheel. So I think also that, like, because we had known each other for years, you know, and we just kind of were in the same groups, prison wife circles. We'd comment back and forth. I think you found me during Life or Wife. Was that Life or Wife week?
Yeah, I was always just intimidated by you because I always felt like you were like, you know, I don't know how to, like, I mean, that's before I like taught. I was just in prison wife groups, and I didn't talk to people, you know what I mean? I just kind of observed, so I just made assumptions about people in my head.
I love that. Oh, that's crazy. I'm intimidated. But see, you're not the first person to tell me that. I don't know how I'm intimidating, because once you get to know me, I'm like the goofiest person ever. But I guess, you know, the Gemini thing is...
What's your rising?
Cancer. Which should be, you would think, because the girl next door. When people talk, like when people see me at first, they're intimidated. But when I start talking, they're like, I feel like I've known you my whole life. And I'm like, yeah, that's the vibe, you know? So, but I think, you know, when you asked me about the group and then the banner was like, we're going, we're running.
Yeah. And now I change it all the time because I'm like, aesthetic is important to me. And do you know, when other people notice the aesthetics and things like that, it means so much to me, because I'm like, because these things matter. And like, I remember always being in groups and like certain things, like, it's just little things. It's the little things, like, caring a little bit extra, doing a little bit extra here or there, that like make it like special.
I agree. It is definitely the small things that add so much. People think you have to do this big bad stuff, and it's just minuscule stuff that just paying attention to those little mini things and adding a little here and adding a little there, it makes the world of difference rather than doing this big, huge, thing.
Literally.
It's the little things. Sorry.
How do you balance your differences while working together?
I think we talk about it. Like, we don't always agree on the same. It's like weird that we act like we always say, like, when we actually agree on something, I'm like, holy shit,
Yeah.
like we actually agree on something. And that's just recently we've been doing that. We've been hitting, like, vibing on the same level or whatever and finding the best out of whatever. But I think we just talk about it. I mean, you tell me, like, well, I don't really like that idea because of this, like, and it's just constructive conversation to where I'm not like, okay, well, I'm butthurt because I don't think that way when it comes to our disagreements, because you're very straightforward, but also very thorough in giving the reasons why you think this way. So I don't know if I'm as good as you at that, but
No, you are. I
okay,
think we have
I
a really
just
good way of communicating, and like even when
yeah.
like you give me that space where I feel like I can be honest and direct about like responding, because like you aren't weird about it. You know what I mean? And so I have plenty
Yeah.
of people that I can't be like that with, and I just know that. But I love
Yeah.
that because it's like that it's just me, and it has nothing to do with even my mood half the time. It's just like I'm just like texting,
Yeah.
or like I don't know.
Yeah, and we haven't ever had like a major
No.
I mean, we've had a little, bumps here and, like, maybe not a lot, I would say. We get along very well. So
Hmm.
it's a blessing that we're able to have this constructive environment and be able to talk. Like, whenever I'm like, Paige, I'll always be like,
Yeah.
Paige, are you mad at me?
Yeah.
Did I do something? I feel comfortable enough to even just ask that.
Hmm.
So,
I love
yeah.
that. I love that about us.
I love us.
That's all I had there, but
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully this gives y'all, especially some of our new wallers. I meant to say this in the beginning, like a little,
insight.
insight into us as people versus just prison wife stuff. And you get to know us a little more on a deeper level,
Yeah.
or what makes us tick, I guess.
Hmm.
And just for the record, since I told my rising sign, I believe yours is Scorpio, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm. I've been
Perfect.
told by many people that I definitely, especially more so in person, I have
Okay.
really bad RBF, and I don't mean to, but it's just like naturally my face sits. I'm serving cunt. Like I can't help it. Like I'm sorry. I'm like, no, I'm not mad. This is me.
This is me. I'm very observant, especially if I'm in a situation that I don't feel like I can be like, that's the good thing about Geminis. I don't, like, once you know me, I'm goofy and I'm funny and I'm cheesy and I'm corny, maybe a little crazy party animal. But then if you see me on the street and I don't know you, I'm like shy and just like, I'll do this.
Yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
like I don't like welcome people. Like I don't like look like I'm like come up and talk to me. Like I don't like
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
gonna fix
I'm not.
everything.
And maybe that's why I'm a little bit intimidating. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But I would think, like, you talk about the resting bitch face.
Hmm.
I would say, like, that could be intimidating, but you're not intimidating.
Good. I'm
You
that's
know what I
something I'm
mean?
trying to. I don't want to I kind of like it in some ways, but like especially now that we're getting like more into like the nonprofit side
Mm-hmm.
of things, and like I'm gonna want to like I don't want to like I'm trying to get rid of the
The
RBF.
RBF. Did you want to talk about the nonprofit here?
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
I can talk a little bit about it.
Go ahead.
I know that we've talked a little bit about Beyond Bars Foundation on here, but as you guys are kind of aware, I created a nonprofit called Beyond Bars Foundation. The main purpose of the nonprofit is to help incarcerated families, impacted by incarceration, whether that be providing like support financially, emotionally. We want to help with community outreach and helping get rid of the stigma that comes along with incarceration. And we want to help advocate for any kind of reforms or help push things that, just aren't getting enough attention. I think between my advocacy on Twitter years ago, all the way to Instagram, to creating this podcast, to creating our group, and all of the people that I've met, like continuously all I see and have realized is the lack of resources that this group of people that very much need them don't have. Like, no one has support. And anytime you talk about incarceration or families involved in incarceration, you just get that blank statement where people are like, well, someone shouldn't have gone to prison. And it's just like, why is that where the conversation ends? And
Correct.
I couldn't just sit back idly and witness it. So, if you want to change something, do something. So we created the nonprofit. We just this past week had our first board meeting with all of the board members. Gigi is a board member, and that was so exciting and got me even more. Like, I left that meeting so excited. We have the website up. We put out a thing for volunteers. If no one saw it, go check it out. It's on the Beyond Bars Foundation Instagram and Facebook page. You can sign up to be a volunteer, and we're going to start reaching out to people. We've got a bunch of really good feedback on that, and it's just like exciting to know how many people want to volunteer their time to help fight, this stigma. And it's just exciting. I have so many ideas. It's just like calming my brain down and putting them all out on paper and working with everyone and making them real.
Yeah. I'm so proud of you for doing this and actually like putting it all together and working so hard. That's what I talked about, you being hardworking. You've been working so hard on this, especially this. I mean, after this meeting, you were like, before the meeting, you were already working hard. But I mean, like after the meeting, I just saw that, let's go, so.
Look at me as I'm like smiling talking about it. Like, you guys know, I kind of shared with you my whole job journey before this. Like, I still have my job and everything, thank goodness. But it's been a while since I've done something and put my heart behind something that I'm passionate about and that I really feel passionate about. And this is where my heart is. So I'm just like, all I want to do is devote all my time to helping these people, and if that's what I get to do with my life, then that would be awesome. And if not, I'll keep working my job and do this on the side. I don't really care. At least I am part of the change,
Yeah, I love that. And I love what this organization represents and stands for, and what the plans are moving towards the future of what we want to do and all the things we want to accomplish. So very excited and very proud of you, honeys.
Thank you.
All right, well, Paige, I think I'm getting a phone call.
Oh, ring, ring.
Guess who it's from? Just one guess.
Is it from Frederick?
It's from Frederick.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Frederick,
an inmate at Florida Correctional Institution.
All right, guys. Well, that means it's time. It is time for your comments and questions. Paige, you want to get us started with the first one?
Okay. The first one that we got was actually just a comment, a very nice comment. You are both beautiful inside and out. Thank you for bringing humanity back.
We're bringing humanity back. Yeah. Sorry.
No, that was honestly, that is so sweet. Thank you for taking the time to type that and say that. Seriously, like I don't think people realize like I realize it takes people time to like, you just slide on Instagram when you're seeing that, to stop and be like, you want to say that to us, like thank you, like that is so sweet.
Just taking the time out of your day to just say something nice is so kind. Thank you so much, honeys.
Yeah.
All right, I have a question. Here we go. Are we ready?
Yes.
All right. How do you not make your loved ones everything an entire world? I am struggling with that, and it's causing me to get hurt more easily when I don't hear from him, or if he has been, or sorry, or if he has a mood shift, and it makes him frustrated with me. I'm struggling being so attached to him. Ooh, great question.
That is a really good question, and that's a hard question because it's like, especially when how the way that these relationships move a lot of times, it's
Mm-hmm.
easy to end up in that situation where you are so attached to them and that your mood. I remember when my mood depended upon if I got a phone call from Joe, and half the time it wasn't him. It was either they let him out or they didn't, and my whole day would be ruined when I wouldn't get a phone call, and like that sucks, having like allowing that to control you. But
Yeah.
it's like realizing that you have to find like happiness and joy, and you have to find other purposes other than just them, or else you will find yourself in that box where you fall down that hole, and things like when he's upset will ruin your entire day, you know.
Yeah. And I think it's easier to get into that box of making them your whole world like the first couple of years of a relationship. Like you said, things move very fast. You're getting to know them, and it's an exciting part. It's an exciting time. It's like, it's the honeymoon phase. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
you do get very, very attached in that point, and you you kind of eventually you grow out of that a little bit in essence, because you have to keep living your life out here, and you have to keep taking care of yourself out here. So I echo, can't talk today. I echo what Paige said. I think you do have to find things that you enjoy doing, things that spark your joy in life out here away from prison. I think it's very important to keep your identity. Prison wife can be part of it, but it's not all of it. I always say that. If you know me, I love my dog. I love going out and hiking. I love traveling. Like, these are things that I make sure I do for myself, because I do pour a lot into prison wife life, but I don't want it to be my everything that I do. It's nice to have a break from being, to be honest, it's nice sometimes to have a break from being a prison wife. I don't want that to be all that I do. It is a big passion of mine, obviously, but it's not all of me. So I echo what Paige said about trying to find things and self-love and self-care and finding things that bring you joy outside of the prison world, because you want to be able to have those outlets if there's a bad day, if your visit doesn't go as planned, if they turn you away at the front gate. Like, you want to be able to go, okay, I'm going to go for a walk today, or I'm going to go shopping, or I'm going to go paint, or I'm going to go do a hobby, a garden, whatever your hobby is. So
The next question I actually have a really good answer for this, only because of my child. So, if prison visits could be themed with activities, what would you pick? And you can pick multiple. This was Addie's question, which of course is why it's phenomenal and detailed.
okay.
I have a good answer for this, only because, like I
All
said,
right.
of my child. I'm
Okay.
signing him up for this summer camp program that he's going to have to go through. I don't even want to talk about how much it costs. But they do different things each week. So like there's different themes. So like one week is themed like Olympics, where they do like Olympic games. Another one is like under the sea. Another one is like decades. So it's like, I think that I would go with all of those. Like I would like take that list of like the camp themes, and I
Uh-huh.
would make like a whole like year of prison visit themes, like under the sea, or like um, decades,
The
or
eras, yeah.
Olympians, all kinds of things to make it kind of fun, and that'd be cool if you could do games like whether it be like trivia or
Yeah. That would be fun. I would
hmm
actually really that would make visit
fun,
fun.
yeah.
Like, at least even if it's just like a couple hours, and then you have the rest of the time with your loved one.
Literally, like even
Um,
literally just like 30-minute like a trivia each table, like you know what I
yeah.
mean? How when you go out to dinner and they do trivia.
Yeah. I would want like a to be totally cheesy. I would want like a prom theme, like
Yeah.
going to prom. So I can just have like a dance with my husband and just get dressed up and him not wear prism jeans and, like look nice and take pictures and dance and have, you know, spiked punch, not spiked punch, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be fun.
My heart.
Oh,
I'm
you
over
know
here
what
getting
also?
upset thinking about Joseph in a suit and how I want to see it, and then I'm just like,
Yeah. It'd
sometimes
be
playing make
nice.
believe is fun, but then when I like actually sit and like think about it,
Think
and I'm
about
like,
it. Yeah.
oh, and I'm like, oh, heart.
Oh,
I'm
you
over
know
here
what
getting
also?
upset thinking about Joseph in a suit and how I want to see it, and then I'm just like,
Yeah.
sometimes
It'd be
playing make
nice.
believe is fun, but then when I like actually sit and like think about it,
Think
and I'm
about
like,
it. Yeah.
oh, and I'm like, oh,
Does he have like, because I look at Michael's pictures like when he went to prom
yes.
in high school. You do that? Okay.
He is literally, he looks like, what are those bugs, like the walking sticks. That's literally what Joseph looks like as a little, because he's literally like so thin, so tall, his little head. I'm like, you literally look like a walking stick. Like,
Stop. Mike looks like Mike from his prom picture. If I can find it, I will post.
I
I'll
know.
show
I'm
it to
gonna
you guys.
find it and post it. So if I'll send it to Jen so it
He
goes over
looks.
this.
He looks
Walking stick.
like
Love you,
what
Joe.
are the daddy long legs? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm literally talking about a walking stick. Do you know what a walking stick
Oh,
is?
like yeah, those stick bugs.
Yes.
The stick bugs. Okay. I mine is yes.
He's gonna kick my ass.
I'm trying to find my Rudy Poo pics. Okay. So Mike's looks like, if I can find it. Oh my God, I have to find it now. It's a picture of him from prom, like in 98 or 1997, something like that. And he is wearing a tuxedo and one of those stupid 90s, like Figaro. Is it a Figaro chain or some type of chain where it's like, like the herringbone? I think maybe it's herringbone. So he reminds me of if like SNL's Dick in a Box,
Yes.
like the 90s, that's what he reminds me of. Here's a picture. Here's one. Him and this skank. Sorry. I know she's probably a nice lady. Look at the chain. It's
Oh
my
my
dick in a box.
god. He does look
It's
like
my
that.
dick in a
Oh my
box,
god. You
baby.
send it to Jen, like how
I
I'm
will.
gonna, and then she can put them on here so they can see it.
Okay. So yeah, I would do
I have.
a prom.
Do you have more
Oh, you
questions?
have another one, or is it my turn?
It's your turn. I have
It's
one
my
more.
turn. I'm sorry. I was singing "Dick in a Box" and I totally lost my spot here. Give me 1 second. All right. All right. Our next question is. Here we go. What are some items and or food that you guys have noticed are particularly helpful to your men? I'm hoping to surprise him with something different he may not have thought of. Thanks again, and you guys are truly doing amazing. And that's from Jess. Thank you, Jess. She called last week. So we have a food that helps your men. That's helpful. Maybe
It's
a
hard
mood
because I feel like
booster or
all their food that they're given or have access
yeah.
to isn't great. Even like from what they get at Chow Hall to what's available at Walk-In Horse. I mean, I think Joseph really gets. I don't know if they do food sales where your man is, but they do food sales sometimes where Joseph is, where some outside companies will sometimes like sell things, and they're insane. Like Chick-fil-A, like a Chick-fil-A sandwich was like $7 that he.
Wow.
So like they're insane prices, but like when they get that, they obviously like get a lot so that they can have it. Like when they get like pizza sales, like he'll literally order like 3 full pizza pies, and this man will just get sick and
He'll
like
eat
eat it.
himself. He'll binge. Yeah.
Yes. So I think that like he doesn't. He'll probably be like, don't say that because he doesn't like to do that. But like he does eat healthy. He fasts a lot. He does weird things to try to like
Mm-hmm.
um because like they don't really have, at least in California, they don't really have access to good food that make him feel good. The food he would
Okay.
want.
Yeah. It's the same. The prison food it's I mean, meh. It's some days are good, some days are terrible. I think for Mike, he would love like just the deli, like being able to, because they can order from the deli every day. I think he would love, like, they have some really amazing. We had some yesterday, fried chicken wings.
That's so
Um,
cool that you guys
yeah,
can do
so
that.
that's his comfort food is something fried.
Yeah.
And they give you like little jalapeno peppers to eat with it. So, he loves that. I would say anything Mexican food.
Joe loves Mexican food, of course.
I mean, you heard Mike last week. He would do a field trip to Ponchos if he could. So, which is a Mexican buffet. So, anything Mexican. So if he can get like a taco, soft tacos, or a quesadilla, or a fajita wrap or something, that's his number one go to. So something like that. I would definitely, if I could, I would put money on his books so he can go to the deli and get what he wants. Like something like that. So I love the stories though of like one of our mutual friends. She came back from a visit and she brought in food. Like some facilities let you bring in sealed food from the
You
outside,
can do
and
that.
she brought the crumble cookies. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I saw that. And I also
Okay.
saw someone in California that they were able to do that too, and they were able to like bring like a restaurant food.
Yeah, like Olive Garden,
Yeah.
or like
And that's
Cheesecake Factory.
I'm like, Joe, you need to end up at a prison like that so I can bring you food.
Yeah.
Like real food
Yeah.
that we're not making.
Yeah, and I think the guy, she said her guy, she brought crumble cookies to a visit, and she said that her husband said that he's never eating Little Debbie snacks ever again.
Yeah, did you see that? I commented that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You were asking like how did he like them or whatever,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
so she said, "Oh well, he's never going to eat Little Debbie snacks ever again," which is
Mhm.
like all that they have in, like, that's their sweets in prison, basically. So
I have another question.
okay.
Um, this one they were brief, but obviously we know what they're talking about. Thoughts on the Emma Barker
Ooh.
situation?
Yeah, I got a question if we're friends with her and all that stuff. And I said, yeah, I mean, we've talked to her. I know Paige is pretty good friends with her. And I know that there's been some rumblings in the prison wife community, obviously, about
Of
what happened
course.
with her. So,
I mean, anytime anything like that,
yeah.
like it's always. But my opinion on it, I mean, obviously people have seen the article. There's people that make hate pages and everything on Reddit that
Yeah.
are talking about she's accused of stealing, I believe, boxes from people's doorsteps. I mean, I don't really have a comment on it because like I feel like to comment on it without knowing more facts is kind of like wrong, especially in our position.
Right.
We know as much as you guys know, which obviously it doesn't look good, but until you were to know more, I don't really have an opinion on it. I feel really bad for her. I feel really bad for her dogs. I feel really bad that it looks like she had to leave everything here and go back to England. So all of that is really sad and it's unfortunate. I think anyone kind of like finding humor or using it as like a hee hee ha ha type thing.
Gotcha.
It's
That
not
kind of
like
thing is,
it's
yeah.
it's sad at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The whole everything is sad. So like I think that just try to remember that and try to remember everyone is all going through their own
Yeah.
thing, and you wouldn't want people to turn and point the finger if it was you know
True.
and another thing I wanted to point out, because Gigi and I talked about this yesterday, is there were people, especially on Reddit, making comments about how well, yeah, she's a prison wife, of course she's doing this shit, like that's what all prison wives do type shit, and that is absolutely insane to even say that, clearly prison wives aren't involved in illegal activities for the most part. I mean, to even get approved on a visiting list, you cannot have certain charges or recent charges or be involved in bad things. So, like, to each their own. Everyone wants to put everyone under different categories, whatever makes the most sense in their brain. But I just say, try not to judge everyone. We don't know all of the circumstances of the situation, and that's just what how I feel. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, and I do feel bad for her. Obviously, she must have. I don't have all the information, but with the information that's been put in the news, I obviously feel like maybe she didn't make the best decisions. And my heart goes out to her and her family and her dogs. I know her dogs were, her children, and I totally empathize with that. And I know she's heartbroken having to leave them behind. So I do feel bad about that. I also, felt some of the concerns from prison wives about this coming out in the media and how it looks for them. And, I want you guys to understand that, you can't even visit if you don't even have if you have an expired driver's license.
Yeah, if you literally have a speeding ticket you haven't paid on and is outstanding, you can't visit in California.
Yeah.
You know that?
If you have any charges in Louisiana, you cannot visit. So, just so you guys don't start thinking, oh, all prison wives do illegal. Yeah. Just say, like, there's a lot of hoops I have to jump through just to be able to see my loved one. Yeah. So that's incorrect and not factual, sir or ma'am.
As soon as you fuck up, they'll do what they can to keep you out and deter visits. So it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, we all know how the justice system works, and it'll all go how it goes, and no one knows the full story. We just know what was put out there, and I think a lot of us should also know and take with a grain of salt that we know how media works.
Correct. How the media twists the situation.
Correct. I've talked before about the articles I've read about Joseph's crime during the time that he was on. They want you to read their shit. They literally put in the title of the article about her, about prison bride, illegally here from prison. Like, you know what I mean? They want you to click on it, and they want you to read it and share it. And just remember that. Not even just with her, but with all news.
Correct. They want to sensationalize everything. So, including our loved ones when they were at, going through.
That's who's exploiting.
Yeah.
Not us.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Amen. And amen again. Because that's who's exploiting our loved ones. Not me. Those motherfuckers.
And they're actually making money. Like not us.
Yep. So,
how much money that foreign magazine when the Sun made on us?
Ooh, good question.
I don't know if I want to know.
I don't want to know either, but it's just interesting to think about, how many clicks they got and how much money that brought them, versus us not even knowing that they were putting that out, and then boom.
Because even when it comes to, like, people talking shit, they don't mind. They still want that because that's still bringing interaction to their website. So it's just at our expense. So fuck us.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I have. Paige, did you have anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, I'm just making sure we don't have any speaky pipes before we close out. I don't think we do. But we will be back next week, and look out for our meme of the week. And go out and vote if you're in Louisiana, and guys, keep fighting the good fight. New York families, stay strong. We love you,
everyone.
Yeah,
they want us to be quiet. They want to wear us down right now.
They're trying to silence us. Don't let them silence us. All right, guys. Well, we love you. Thank you for getting us here to 48 episodes. Big hearts for you guys, our Wallers, our OG Wallers, our Morgan Wallers, our Waller Squad, all of y'all. We love you.
Shout out to our one YouTube member. We love you.
Oh yes, shout out. Wait. I got something for them.
Yeah, we can get YouTube members now. If you guys want to, if you click the join button, you can join.
Yeah, come join us, y'all. So that shout out to that one person.
Shout out.
Our one YouTube member. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, we love you. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for letting me rant. Thank you for letting me speak my piece here, because
thanks for listening to us and our exploitation. That's what this pod is.
Totally. Anyway, but I love you guys. Thank you for supporting me through all of this, because lately, this past month has been very, very hard for me with everything going on. And I just want to say that to you guys. Thank you so much for checking in with me, commenting, just being awesome. And that's what this community is all about. And I love you guys for it. Thank you so much.
The community fucking rocks, bitches.
Y'all a bad bitch. A bad bitch.
Big, what is it? Fat, juicy, and wet. I need to get that out of my head.
Yes. I'm going to be singing that now all day. Thank you. Well, we love you guys. Besitos.
Bye, friends. Love you.
See you next week. Bye.